Before we get into the West Portland Town Center, today is about community engagement, so I wanted to share this quote to remind us of the importance of doing planning in a different way going forward. So Mayor Wheeler let us use this quote. He said, "To plan for the Southwest Corridor that provides complete and inclusive communities for all, we must also listen to the voices of our neighbors most impacted by today's racial and economic disparities." And so today you'll hear about how we've incorporated this principle of centering voices that have long been marginalized in planning and policy decisions into this project. This is where an East African and Arab Muslim community has established deep roots, living in close proximity to the largest and second oldest mosque in the city, in West Portland Park, in the lower left-hand part of your screen. So as this place grows, we want it to grow more diverse, and as it receives new investments, we don't want the displacement that can come from an area becoming more desirable. So we've developed a plan. It's very draft internal form, but it really centers the community's vision for a healthy and equitable and climate resilient future. And then we came up with more specific goals that we'll share with you today, and are now refining proposals for new policies and actions for zoning, infrastructure, and community development without displacement.
So first of all, I want to thank for the opportunity and creating the space to acknowledge what has been happening and to recognize that on top of working on anti-displacement measurements, we need to make sure that we're creating spaces where everyone feels safe and is treated the same. And I really have high hopes that we can accomplish a lot of that everywhere in Portland if we work unite. So our recommendations or actions that we ask that are taken care of is to make sure that you're really listening to the community and step up and hear their priorities and get back to them and let them know how you're going to make sure that their voice is really heard. Some specific actions is prevent housing displacement and add more affordable housing. In general, community members are very concerned about the rent increases and the lack of job opportunities. At the same time, wages don't go up as prices rises. So they are in need of affordable housing. They also said they want more transportation to be better and safer. And they want a strand of culture through small businesses and community centers. So that's the call of action from the community that we heard the most. People love to live there and they want to stay there. Yeah, that's all I have to present.
Right. Thank you, Mohammed. I'm going to go to your slide now. And if you could introduce what the great work HAKI is doing and yourself.
Hello. My name is Mohammed Salim Bahamadi, director, founder of HAKI Community Organization, representing the East African Swahili-speaking people and inclusive of other communities also. Just to touch a little bit on myself. So my mom is Indian, my dad Arab, from Yemen, born in Africa, Kenya, and this is my 8th year being in America, and I'm very glad and proud to be doing this with you guys. At HAKI, we try to do multiple things to our community. We have resettlement, adjustments, and integration. That's one program that we encourage residents to be homeowners, buy your own house, and we have a 3 to 5 years programs that we advise people to enroll in to build their credit and save for their down payments, but home ownership program. So for the new immigrants also, we try to make them adjust to their new life here in America. We also have rental rights and responsibilities. We get lots of discriminations and mistreatments from landlords and managers because of our language barrier and our different life from Africa and here in America. So we get lots of those discriminations. So that's why I stood up and have this program at HAKI community organization to help our community in those problems. We also have this cultural retention and education. We want to keep our culture, teach our kids, new generation on our culture, and especially being away from your native home. We also do crime and gang prevention. We keep our kids busy, engaged with sports, and we tell them there's something else you can do better than doing bad things, being a gang and doing bad stuff. There's something else that you can do better in this world. We also have a program with health awareness, health and wellness. So we bring seniors and ladies at HAKI Center and do like cooking classes and tell them what to eat healthy and to avoid those trips going to hospital, especially in a new country like this, having all those fast foods ready like on the streets. So just to let them do healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. So we also have done lots of organizing outreach to bring community together, to give them feedback on what's happening around us. As we had that language barrier, most of us, and the know-how and education, most of us are from the islands, and so I'm there to bring them together and give them feedback and let them know what's happening around us. So during those doing organizing and outreach were one of big thing that we did with our Unite Oregon and CAT and City of Portland was the walk tour that we did here in Southwest Portland. So through that walk tour, we have seen a lot. We did a walk tour along Capital Highway and Barber around the Tri-Med Transit Center. So we found all these things that we need you guys to consider, like at the Tri-Med Transit Center, maybe we can build like a big building in one of those four big buildings that it's in the plan to have a multicultural community center, as Christina mentioned. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. So like in that community center, like a big building, when you walk in there, you see like shops, restaurants, community offices, event meeting spaces, all in one big building. So to have like shops of different cultural and traditional clothing in those shops. If you need like Ethiopian clothing, you go into that shop. Somali, Chinese, Spanish, and also like different restaurants of different traditional food. And also to have community offices in that building. So if you need an assistant of a certain community, you can walk into that office and feel comfortable to speak to a person who speaks your language and can help you. So yeah, here in Portland, everybody knows it's like a diverse, multicultural community that lives, especially here in Southwest on Barber and Capital Highway. So we have Ethiopian, Swahili, Chinese, Somali, Spanish, Europeans, of course, and many more. We believe every community has their culture that they practice and want to preserve. We love and respect them all. Another thing, once we were doing the walk tour, was uh, that here in Southwest we have like a multicultural hub that people live together, especially like Arabs and people from Africa. We have a mosque down here, right on Capital Highway, and there's PCC Sylvania that Arabs come from Saudi Arabia to come and use uh, that college. And there is also a that Markham Elementary School. The elementary school uh, holds like multicultural families. If you walk in Markham, you see all different people of color, kids there. Very nice, very awesome, and we want to preserve that. So to keep us together, not to displace us. By doing this, helps maintain our cultural identity, be able to be around each other who speaks and understands same language, share food and chat. We knock our community, families and people, we knock their doors and just walk in with some food and share with them and chat. So we don't want to miss that. If you move us elsewhere, we will miss all those. We like to raise our kids together to retain our culture. Keeping us together feels safe and feels at home. We also talk about preservation of current affordable housing to avoid displacements. It takes time to adapt to a new place, especially when you are not willing to move, and we don't want our families to feel isolated. We also welcome new buildings on affordable housing, but please, please make them affordable. We just hear affordable housing, but they are not affordable. If you hear their rent, I can give you one example of senior couples that they earn like less than 1,200, a little bit less than 1,200, and they pay rent at 1,150. So, but luckily they are in Section 8 program, which helps them to keep some of that money, but also to get into Section 8 and low income housing is very hard. You be in a waiting list for a very long time, and sometimes you don't get, and it's only a chance because many people need that, and it's not everybody gets that. So please, if you build new buildings, make them affordable practically, not just by a word affordable. We also want to support small business owned by minorities, like halal markets, as Christina said, and also traditional clothing stores to promote and serve low-income families. These shops are very helpful to our society. Sometimes we shop on trust basis and pay when you get your paycheck with no interest charge. Because of that, knowing each other and respect each other. So with trust, we get that advantage to go and take like food or anything that you need just on trust basis. Just to follow up with Christina, Ryan, and the rest of you, you are asking how you guys can support. So again, funding, fund us and give us support in that way. Since 2018, I've been running HAKI community organization from my own pocket, and I'm very happy, very glad, and to do it sincerely. But when we get more help, like MRG just gave us some funds recently that will push us a little bit. During census also, like Christina say, with no internet and no computers at home and the knowledge. So if we can get some assistance with those funds to like get some computers, and maybe during this time we can give to our community people to do those things, and also do while I am doing that home ownership program. Now we cannot meet; it's hard, but we want to keep it going. So if we can get funds also on that, we can keep it going, and also to do all those focus groups again for the Southwest Corridor. So yeah, funds. HAKI community is very new, very young. You can check us on our website, HAKI at hakicommunity.org. See what we are doing, and maybe you'll understand a little bit more why we need some help. And all that I have been doing from my own pocket. Like Ryan said, he came to volunteer during our food box program. Yeah, so we gave out some food during Ramadan. Especially when you are fasting for like 16, 17 hours. And then when you want to break a fast, you have that, you feel like a certain craving of a certain food, So I did like culturally specific food items during Ramadan. So please fund, help us, and promote us, and support, especially HAKI as a new organization. We really need your support.